Yeah, welcome to the vibe. Stay wavy in the mix, got the culture on the rise. Tap in, hit subscribe, ring that bell, let it ride. We gon' surf through the trends, give you game every time. Reviews, new views, keep it honest.
Good, y'all. It's your boy Wavy, StayWavyTV. Let's talk about NFL superstar Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. in his NFL career has made over $100 million, but he is having some serious financial issues and allegedly has gone broke. The last time we seen Odell Beckham Jr. play in the NFL was last year. He played for the Miami Dolphins before he was cut in the middle of the season. And going into this season, he was suspended for being on PEDs while playing for the Miami Dolphins. And since then, as a free agent, he has remained unsigned, right? So Odell Beckham Jr. made some very controversial statements this week, basically saying that he feels like athletes can't live off of a $100 million contract in the NFL. Now, everybody was talking about this because everybody was thinking the same thing. What the hell is OBJ talking about? But just days after making that statement, Odell Beckham Jr. sold a pair of his game-worn Chrome Hearts cleats for $50,000. And allegedly, he also sold his Super Bowl cleats that he wore while he was playing for the Los Angeles Rams. He sold those for $200,000. So this just furthers the narrative that Odell Beckham Jr. is broke. And all of that money that he made while playing for the Giants, playing for the Cleveland Browns, playing for the Baltimore Ravens, playing for the Miami Dolphins before he was cut, you know what I'm saying? That money is gone. And that's sad because we've seen this story happen so many times where athletes, whether they're boxers, football players, NBA basketball players, we've seen this so many times where these athletes make all of this money, and because they come from the hood and they don't know about finances, right? They end up blowing millions of dollars, right? And they end up going broke before they're even senior citizens. They go broke in their 30s, 40s, you know what I'm saying? So this explains why Odell Beckham Jr. is selling his cleats, because he's trying to pay the rent, he's trying to pay the mortgage. And you guys got to remember, right? These guys that make all of this money and they buy these mansions, whether they rent them or buy them, you have to sustain that lifestyle. So if you don't constantly have that income coming in long term, right, you're going to run into a world of trouble. If you're just blowing your money on jewelry, you know, foreign cars, you know what I'm saying? You renting out mansions, you giving money to your homeboys, you buying your uncle, your mama, your daddy a crib. You might wake up one day and you may not even be worth $1 million anymore. You're like, damn, I don't even got $1 million in the bank. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it seems like has happened to Odell Beckham Jr., who is considered a superstar in the NFL. Even after him not being in his prime, not being one of the top receivers in the NFL, he is still considered a superstar. His name gains a lot of traction. He has won a Super Bowl. And people are always going to remember that one-handed catch that he had on the New York Giants. Many people consider that the greatest catch in NFL history, okay? So let's get into this article. Shout out to Fox Business. It says Super Bowl champion OBJ broke down the supposed financial perils of signing a lucrative contract in the NFL and what a $100 million contract really means. Beckham appeared on The Pivot back in October and lamented not having the financial literacy to know the expenses that would come with a massive deal. The interview caught the attention of social media during the holiday weekend. He said, "I've always explained this to people, bro. You give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract. What is it really?" He said. "It's 5 years for $60 million. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's a 12-year that you have to spend. Use, save, invest, flaunt, whatever. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to give my mom a house. Everything costs money. So if you're spending $4 million a year, that's nearly $40 million in 5 years, 8 a year. Now you start breaking down the numbers and it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't be in a position like, oh, that will last a lifetime. Yeah, this job I sacrificed my whole life for, they're giving me that. I didn't ask for a certain dollar amount or whatever, but we weren't taught about no financial literacy. We weren't taught this skill. And I agree. But Odell Beckham Jr., we also have to give context to that. It's 2025. There is so much information out there about finances that if you're blowing through, $60 million, you know, because you have to pay the rest of taxes. That is true. But if you're blowing $60 million, right, then obviously that's your fault, because you could have hired an accountant. You could have hired some of that money and put it into real estate. You could have took some of that money and bought you a couple of fast food franchises, whether it be a Chick-fil-A, a McDonald's, a Burger King. You know what I'm saying? That's why people tell you to invest. And obviously, you didn't do that. So Beckham's second contract with the New York Giants was worth $90 million over 5 years before he was traded to the Cleveland Browns, according to Spotrac. He then signed deals with the Rams worth $1.2 million, which he turned some into Bitcoin. The deal with the Baltimore Ravens was worth $15 million, and his contract with the Miami Dolphins was worth $3 million. Through 2025, Beckham has made more than $101 million. So listen, man. This is why these athletes, man, like when you touch that type of money, bro, the first thing you should do is get you an accountant, right? Get you an investor, somebody that specializes in investing money. As a matter of fact, if you're a guy like Odell Beckham Jr., you should reach out to a guy like Shaquille O'Neal, who owns a bunch of things, bro. The man owns so many businesses, bro. You could have reached out to a Magic Johnson. You could have reached out to so many people that are athletes like yourself that could have put you on to, you know, where you can invest that money in. So we can't feel bad for you, man. If this was the early 2000s when, you know, people weren't really using the internet to learn this type of information, and you out here blowing through $60+ million, brother, that's your fault. And I don't feel bad for you. So with that being said, man, it's your boy Wavy, StayWavyTV. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, share the video, and let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. Stay wavy. I'm out.
Stay wavy, signing out. Ride the tide, no doubt. From the rooftop glow to the neon cloud. You tapped in, so I gotta say love. Like, subscribe, keep the motion above. Until the next wave, we out. Peace.